Are you always trying to rush 10 steps ahead? Always trying to get things done, worrying about the next endeavour, the next goal? Or are you always dwelling on the past, fearing that what you've done in the past is going to prevent you from moving forward? Are you forgetting to live in the present moment? The thing is, all we have is now, right now. Everything happens in the now, in the present moment. But if we're worrying about the future or worrying about the past, we can't enjoy it and we can't make the most of it. We can actually do a lot more by being in the present moment than always doing all the time. My name is Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. We're creatures of doing, and I've said this again and I'll say it again. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Being is as productive as doing. We have to appreciate the now moment because now is all we have. Yesterday is gone. We can't fix it. And tomorrow isn't promised. And we keep wasting the life that we have by neglecting to be here now, right now. Be in this moment. Enjoy this moment. You know, when we're consumed with depression or anxiety, depression is worry of the past. Anxiety is worry of the future. You're never going to really enjoy what you have. If you keep striving to get to the next goal, you're never going to enjoy what you have now. You know, we think that we're going to be happy when we get to a certain destination, but it's all about the journey. It's not about the destination. You know, if like, for example, you know, we're aiming for this goal, we're aiming for this destination, we're doing it so fast and we're getting overwhelmed and we're getting there and we're getting there and we're getting there. And then we finally get there and it's like, oh, that was anticlimactic. Because of the fact that you didn't enjoy the process. How are you supposed to enjoy the end result if you're not enjoying your life now? If you're not enjoying the journey? And, you know, we rush ahead. This is one thing, and this is one thing I kind of do myself. You know, we get to a goal or a destination and we're like, right, what's next? And we forget. We forget what we've done. And we punish ourselves for not being where we think we should be. And the thing is, and the thing I've learned is, you're right on time. You're right on time for your journey. So if you keep kind of saying to yourself, why did that person get it done in this time? Why can't I do it in this time? Why am I feeling overwhelmed? You're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling tired because you need to rest. You know, and another thing, this is one big one. If you keep rushing around the place, you're going to slow yourself down. You know why? Because you're going to injure yourself. You're going to be like, if you don't listen to the universe and be in the present moment, do things in accordance with your body, mind, and soul, slowly but surely, and you know, with at the speed for your own body instead of rushing, you're going to injure yourself and you're going to end up having to be forced to slow down. And you know, this was me. Like, you know, I was such a I learned this off my dad. I was a speed walker. Do you know what I mean? Or a speed mover. It was just, and I still do this. Like, you know, like I told you this, guys, before. Like, I worked in the meat factory and, you know, there was blood on the backpack bags. And, you know, I was working in the boning hall. Like, you know, I was in the packing area supervising in the packing area. So there would be blood around. And, you know, I'd be going so fast. So, you know, I'd be hands-on and stuff. And there'd be blood. And I'd be like, what? Like that, thinking it was on the bags. And then I'd be like, oh, gosh, oh, Jesus. The adrenaline a bit from going so fast. And I'd be after cutting myself again. Every day I walked into the office for a plaster with my hand in the air. And they'd be like, what did you do this time? You know, because I'd just keep going. And, you know, I never listened to my body. And the amount of muscles I pulled, the amount of you should have seen the bruises I had. You know, it was just, and the same when I used to drink. I used to fall over when I drink, a clear sign you shouldn't be drinking. And the bruises I had throughout my life because I wouldn't slow down or I wouldn't listen to my body. And another time, I mentioned this before, is that I was rushing out the door again, rushing, came down off the deck and I heard my ankle go pop. And I was like, oh no, I live on my own, I can't have no ankle. Do you know what I mean? I need to drive, I need to walk, oh my God. And that was the time, it was only when the ankle happened that I realised, okay, I have to stop. I have to slow down here. Because, you know, especially when I do live on my own, like, it's dangerous. If I hurt myself, I know I have to look after myself and I have to be able to drive. So that was a clear sign for me to be in the present moment. And now I slow down to a snail's pace. You know, you think I'm a granny driving on the road now because it's just like, if I'm behind a tractor, I'm like, it's fine. Before I'd be rushing around behind the around the tractor. Now I'm like, it's fine. The universe is telling me to slow down. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I'll take things easy. You know, I used to run around shops, I'd be running around shops that I couldn't breathe. And I used to smoke cigarettes as well. So I just couldn't breathe and I was running everywhere, sweating balls. But you know what I mean? Like, but now I'm like literally snail's pace. I look at everything, I ponder in and out, and it's just like, take my time. Because being in the moment, you get to appreciate it. You know, there's a bunch of times I've gone into shops when I was rushing, and then I go back into the shop and be like, was that always there? Well, that's new. And it's like, no, that was always there. You just didn't stop. And I still do this. You know what I mean? I'll walk around the shop and I'll see something that I never saw before, and I'm like, did they always have that product? I'm like, geez, that's new. And it's like, no, you just didn't see it because you were running around the place. And that's it, you know, and the injuries is a big one. This is like, you have to listen to your body. You have to listen to what's going on. Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel stressed out? Do you feel like you're stressing because you should be somewhere else or you should be further along? This is it. You're exactly where you need to be for your journey. And I've discovered this myself, like, you know, especially when I started, you know, in my coaching career and started to do courses and started, I was actually having a relapse. So I was in the depths of a deep healing as well. So I was in a freak out mode. I was like, how am I going to move forward? What do I do? And it's like literally taking baby steps at a time. But I broke the baby steps into milli steps. And I just pushed forward every day. But I did one thing every day and I lived in that moment. And I didn't overstress myself. But if my body or mind told me, you're tired, take a break, I started to listen. And that's when I started to appreciate the now moment. You know, and I still do this. I still try and rush ahead. But now I just take everything as it comes, because right now is all that we have. And we have to remember that. You have tomorrow, like everything. And you know what? I was reading this the other day. Everything happens in the present moment. The past happened in the present moment. The future will happen in the present moment. So everything happens in the present moment. So you cannot fix or change things from the past because it happened in the present moment. And you can't change the future because it will happen in the present moment. And when you get to the present moment, you can do something about it. Do you know what I mean? So be in the present moment. Being is doing. You know, we think that we can only be productive if we're doing all the time. But I love these present moments, you know, because you get to create. You get to create for the next moment, but you're not thinking about the next moment. You're in meditative creation mode. Do you get me? So like, you know, we might be planning for the future or doing something for the future thing, but we're doing it right now and we're staying in it right now. You know, like, you know, for example, just like, you know, you could be doing something and you'd be thinking about the next 10 things that you have to do. And then you like, I've done this before as well. Like, you know, I'd be like, oh my God, I have to get this done and I have to get it done now. And then everything, it's guaranteed. This always happens. You know, you have this, like, it's not even an appointment, but you have a schedule for yourself and you have this set thing to do and you really need to do it. And you're afraid if you don't do it on this moment in time that you won't do it at all. So you're kind of rushing to get to that moment to do it. And then everything comes up. There's so much things that come up, the jobs that you have to do, things like that. And I remember, especially one morning, I was like, oh, just, you know, getting the things done really quickly. Then I kept dropping things, kept walking into things, kept hurting myself. I'm like, you're slowing yourself down because you're rushing. And that's what we do. We actually slow ourselves down because we're rushing, we're hurting ourselves, we're dropping things, we're being clumsy. But if we're actually presently doing or being right there, doing the thing with full concentration, being fully present with it, it's done quicker. Your life flows more easily and quicker if you actually go slow. I know, like, but it's true. It really is true. Slow down to speed up. Like, I get this message so many times, like, slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up. But it's like, slow down to speed up. That's it. Like, you're actually slowing down to speed up. And I just think we're so stressed over tomorrow. We're so stressed over the past even. Yesterday is gone. Like, you know, one of my favorite quotes, I have it written on my arm here. Live every day as if it's your first. Like, yes, I agree, live every day as if it's your last, so live it to the fullest. But live it as if it's your first. This is the first day of the rest of your life. But this is your day. Not tomorrow. Today. Right now. That's all you have. It's all you have. So, like, appreciate it. And you know, what I love about this present moment is the childlike wonder of it. you're literally able to see everything around you. And like, as I just mentioned with the shop, like you get to see the products in the shop and you're like, oh my God, that's new. No, it's not. It was always there. You know what I mean? But like, and it's the same with trees or being out in the forest or what have you. You know what I mean? You literally seeing things like with new eyes, effectively, because you're living in the now. Oftentimes we go out in nature, or we just go and sit out in the garden and we're still thinking about having to do the washing, or we have to do this, or we have this to do, or we have this to do. And you're like, you're not being in the moment here, and you're missing out on everything. And like when you actually remove all those thoughts from your mind, all that worry, you get to see everything around you. You get to see the birds eating the seeds. You get to hear the birds. You get to see the trees. You get to see everything, just see and be right there. And that's when the magic happens. I love this. And it's like being in meditation. When you're in meditation, you can get ideas and you can get downloads that come in. But when you're doing just being, when you're just being in the moment, you can actually plan better for your future. Plan your next steps better. You know what I mean? You're setting the stage for something, for where are my words? For creating something bigger and better. If we rush things, they're not going to be good. They're going to be bad, and this is another thing. You know what I mean? I used to say this all the time. It's funny, I have two things that I say now, but anyway. So like, if you do a job too quickly and you try and half-ass it, you're going to have to do it again. And it's like, you better to do the job right the first time. I don't know what that quote is. Better to do it right the first time than have to do it again. Like, it's effectively it, like. So if you're rushing around doing something and then you hurt yourself and you end up you're breaking something even, you're just like, you're going to have to wait now to get a replacement, or you're going to have to wait now to heal. So you're slowing yourself down. But if you'd have taken the rest and been in the moment, you're going to be able to do the things quicker. And you'll be able to see what you want to do as well. So if you're creating something like a book, or, or you're building something, or any kind of artsy craft stuff, or even a business, anything like that, when you're right now in this moment, you can actually create it within your mind before you create it in reality. And when it's created in your mind, slowly but effectively, it will be created better in reality. Like we tend to force ourselves to be 10 steps ahead. I've already mentioned that. But like, this is the thing, like, if you especially, the book thing keeps coming into my head. So if you're trying to write a book and you're like, oh, I need to get it done yesterday. And it's just like, why? Why do you need to get it done yesterday? Why? Are you on a deadline? No, you're on your own timeline. And to be honest, you're on a timeline of the universe. You're in divine timing. What this means is the book will be ready when it's supposed to be ready. Because I was even reading an author there, and she said there was like 7 years between her two books. But she got the idea for her second book, like almost straight away after writing her first book. But she said to herself, I need to do it. It needs to flow out of me. Like, I see this an awful lot of writers, hence writer's block, is that they're forcing themselves into the moment to try and get something done, and there's nothing coming. Because they're like, oh my God, I need to have this done yesterday. I need to have it done, for tomorrow. Oh, no. And there's nothing coming. So it took her 7 years to sit down and write the book, because she knew that she couldn't force it. And within those 7 years, what she did was gain more knowledge and content for that book. I see this as well, like, some mornings, like, I get up and I'd be trying to rush, to get my content done. And there's other mornings then I'll keep hitting these little walls, or I have to do this, or there's something will come up, or I'll be just slow it down. And I'm like, oh, what? I just get frustrated with it. But now I realize every time I'm slowed down, it's because I need to have that space to expand what I'm going to speak. You know what I mean? Like, I already half know what I'm going to speak. A lot of it is downloads, and it just comes naturally. I go into a flow state. But I realize if there's a little bit of extra time between me and doing my content, it means that I have some information to acknowledge before I can do that. So that space, that pause, this present moment, you're unearthing more treasure is what I'm getting here. You know, you're actually unearthing more treasure. So that present moment is full of beauty, full of magic, full of creation, but it's full of peace. You're not rushing. You're not hurting yourself. You're not breaking anything. You're not delaying yourself, because as I said, if you rush, you're actually slowing yourself down. And in this present moment, you just get to be. And the beauty of it, it's filled with love. The love of everything around you. You know, we neglect to see the beauty around us because we're in such a rush. We really do. And there's magic to be seen. And, you know, there's another example, like, with my dogs, like, you know what I mean? I'd be watching television and my dog would be like, oh, I'm playing. And I'm like, no, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. Now I watch my laptop so I can pause now and I can just be in the moment with my dog or my cat, you know what I mean? And actually just be fully there. You know, and it's the same if you have kids, like, you know, oftentimes you've got one phone on your hand and one phone going, I want to kid going, yeah, shut up, like, do you know, or something like that, like, and, you know, what you should really be doing is being fully present. Get rid of the phone for a minute, you know what I mean? Get rid of the television for a minute or the laptop. Be fully, and, you know, I love my animals more because I'm able to be with them in this moment. Because, you know, because life is short. And that's one thing I'm going to say now is life is short. You know, I wasn't always present and fully present with my pets, like, and I lost my little baby, my 14-year-old Jack Russell last year, Shadow. And I remember taking a picture of her. You know, I was actually just getting frustrated with her, but I took a picture of her. And it was the last picture I ever took because the next day she was gone, like, but, you know, it just made me realize, okay, this should make me emotional, but, like, it's made me realize that how important right now is, because I didn't realize when I was taking that picture that it would be the last picture I'd take, and I wasn't expected to get emotional, but, like, it made me conscious of how important right now is, and how important it is to make time for you and the people around you and the people you love. Because if we're too much in tomorrow or too much in yesterday, we're going to miss those moments. And you could get to tomorrow and you realise that moment was the last one. So appreciate the now and slow down, because this is all we have. We don't know what tomorrow brings. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today, and I'd love nothing more than to help on your path.